I would call to order the Village of Westmont Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for June 11, 2014. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Pill?
Here.
Commissioner Anton? Commissioner Fidesco?
Here.
Commissioner Van Buren is here, and Chairman Richard?
Here.
And I didn't call, Roy?
Roy.
Commissioner Fleet is absent.
Commissioner Fleet is also.
We have a quorum.
Okay. If you would please all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. While I have you all standing, you got to be sworn in if you're going to give any testimony either for or against any item tonight. So if you'd please raise your hand. I swear that any testimony I give this evening shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you very much. And when you come up to the podium, if you would sign in, please. Okay. I would ask that you silence all of your electronic devices, too. The chairman gets very upset. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of our May 14 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pill, seconded by Commissioner Fidesco. A question on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Pill?
Yes.
Mr. Fidesco?
Yes.
Mr. Van Buren votes yes, and Chairman Richard.
Yes. Okay, the minutes as printed are hereby adopted. Old business, seeing none. Under new business, planning and zoning item 14013, Hinsdale Westmont Veterinary Center, regarding the property located at 115 Ogden Avenue for the following: site and landscaping plan review for a new veterinarian office and indoor kennel facility. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Mike Mathis with Linden Group Architects out of Orland Park. I'm here with Tony and Jason, Dr. Tony and Jason from RWE Construction. Just going to give you a quick overview of the site. Thank you for having us here again tonight. We're excited to hear more comments about the site plan and see if there's any additional input to give on the project. So just to give you a general information about the site, basically the total land area that we have is about 9 acres. The building footprint that's being, the animal hospital's 9,400 square feet. We're required to park for 23 cars. The current site plan has parking for 42 cars with 2 handicap stalls. One of the revisions from the last submittal that you saw is the addition of a loading area off the back of the building that we show along the trash area. This removed 2 parking spots from the last floor plan or site plan that was submitted. And the civil and landscape plan that you'll see tonight do not reflect this change, but we will get that change reflected when the plans are submitted for permit. The building orients on Ogden Avenue next to the Pet Supply Plus. It's a 2-story facility that will be in the neighborhood of 18,000 square feet in total. There was a question at the last meeting about an overhang off the back of the building. This site plan reflects the footprint of the building as it goes to the ground all the way up. So there is not an overhang as was illustrated in the last meeting off the back. That back wall does go up. Just to give some reference of the site as it stands today, this is the existing motel next to the Pet Supply Plus on Ogden Avenue. Context of how the building sits next to Pet Supply Plus and the surrounding businesses. A few features of the overall site plan before I get into specifics of engineering and landscaping. just a refresher from last week, or last month, excuse me. We are providing cross-access from the Pet Supply Plus to allow for safe circulation of traffic, since these are two buildings that will have shared users that are using both. We're reducing the curb cut from 1 to 2, the current 2 existing motel curb cuts. We also have an easement access across the back of Pet Supply Plus property as well. The idea is that we have created a nice safe route for circular traffic going around and egressing back out onto Ogden Avenue. The building orients to Ogden Avenue with an entrance facing Ogden and also an entrance facing the parking lot in this area right here. One other feature, I think will come up in the landscape plan, where we're looking at introducing a bench along the Ogden Avenue, which will have some improved landscaping around it, and a monument sign off the corner of the property. Landscaping-wise, the current site does not have a lot of shade trees and substantial trees on the site. We're looking at trying to reinforce a better shade tree structure. We're taking down a decent-sized locust tree, but we're replacing it with proposed 10 new shade trees that will grow to provide shade to the property. An additional 3 evergreens that will provide year-round greenery. As I mentioned, the bench element off of Ogden Avenue, we're going to beef up landscaping around it, so it sort of nestles into that spot. And then also, we want to really play up our monument sign with improved landscaping as well. The base of the building will be anchored with landscaping where we don't have the walkway coming up against it. Towards the back, we will have additional shade trees, and we have a 6-foot-high PVC privacy fence along the back property line. Quick overview of our preliminary engineering. Like Pet Supplies Plus, we're looking at storm detention in the back with an underground storm retainer, and everything will be fed to that tank, and we'll go back out to Ogden Avenue through a restrictor. With that, I guess I would ask Jill, do you want me to go any more into the floor plan and elevations to just?
No.
Okay. I'd like to open up for questions, please.
All right. Is there anybody from the public who will comment on this issue, either for or against? Seeing no hands coming, we will close the public comment. Staff?
There have been some very minor changes since the last time the commission has reviewed the proposal, and we're pleased with the ability to include the loading area and incorporate cross-access easement from both sites to the east and the west.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Thomas, if you would, please.
You mentioned that there weren't many shade trees present the way it is right now, and that you were going to get rid of one tree, add some evergreens, and have some shade trees. Do you know what kind of shade trees you're going to have?
I think that's indicated on the plan.
Yeah, so on the landscape plan, the first 5 items on there are the shade trees. We have, let me pull a bigger plan, just make sure I can read and get the specifics correct for you. So we have 2 Freeman maples, 2 black maples, 3 skyline honey locusts, and 2 Kentucky coffee trees, and 1 frontier elm. And then the evergreen trees are a Colorado spruce and 3 Doug fir.
Okay. I'm glad you're working well with staff and that, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes. Question, In reading, is this going to be a 2 or 3-story building?
It will be a 2-story building.
Will it have a basement?
No, it will not.
So it's a slab construction?
Correct.
Okay. And is 9,400 square feet the entire building, or half and half for each floor
Half and half. 9,400 is the footprint.
of the building? Okay.
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Van Buren?
The changes that were made in adding the loading dock, and it took away 2 parking spots, does that make them at all deficient in parking? Or are
No.
they still in compliance?
They're still in compliance, and in fact, they exceed the code slightly.
No other questions?
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yeah, it's a very nice, extensive plan as far as landscaping goes. Wish you luck. No questions.
Okay, I notice you have your address on your monument sign. Thank you very much. And you answered the discharge for me. And I understand the picture we have of the second floor here, which still shows a cantilever, is going to be eliminated, correct?
Correct, and I do have an illustration of.
No, that's not necessary, just so,
That is correct. I do have a revised elevation if you'd like. I'll throw it on the screen.
okay, very fine. And then one minor thing, has any decision been made on the placement of the Westmont name? Are we first or second?
You know, right now, it's something that I don't think for us, it's gonna be a big deal. As long as we have some way of making sure our clients in Hinsdale at the hospital now know where we're at.
Well, this is a particular concern to me, strictly as an individual, but we are recommending for you to occupy this prime commercial space, and I think we would deserve to be placed first. Other than that, I have nothing but good to say about you.
Chairman, the elevation.
Yes,
just
sir.
to point out, this is the, I believe the element of the elevation you were talking about.
Yes, ours shows the cantilever, so, okay. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, under Planning and Zoning 14013, I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees, site and landscaping plan review for a new veterinarian office and indoor kennel facility.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Van Buren, seconded by Commissioner Pill. A question on the motion. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. Commissioner Thomas?
Yes?
And Chairman Richard?
Yes. Again, as I said last meeting, thank you for coming into our village.
Thank you.
Okay. Planning and zoning item, next item, Planning and Zoning 14015, Uncle John's Music regarding the property located at 33 North Cass for the following. A special use permit request to operate educational classes on the second floor in the B1 Limited Business District. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm John Costel with Uncle John's Music, and what we would like to do is occupy the second floor of our building, which currently houses our retail space, to offer more music lessons, and in addition do art classes, which are both group lessons, small group, and private lessons for art, visual art like painting, and drawing and things like that. My wife, who is a master's of art education, is going to be running the art part of it. I do have here's a drawing. This is a basic layout of the upstairs here. So this larger room is going to be for the group classes, specifically the art lessons. And then we have 2 rooms that are currently bedrooms for the private music lessons. And then we have some waiting area and some storage in the back. So that's just a rough drawing of that. I think we've been open since 2004. So we're really getting a lot more requests for additional music classes. We've been doing a lot of ukulele circles, which is a group activity, and we host them at our neighbor's Sweet and Savory spot. So we've been doing a lot of things from that, and doing some community activities like that. So there isn't really anything like this around here with the private art classes, so we hope to do after-school activities and adult lessons, adult classes, and also for those that are homeschooled.
Okay, very fine.
Basically it.
Before we go into the public comment, Jill, could you educate everybody about the special use and if they want to revert back?
Yes. Because this is a request for classes, educational art and music classes, this triggers a special use requirement in the B1 district. And as part of that, the applicant is requesting to change the second floor from residential units to this commercial use. The applicant will be required to meet our fire alarm requirements for a commercial use, and then as a result would not be able to turn the use back to residential without triggering a sprinkler requirement. So we've been discussing that with the applicant and the property owner, and we'll likely be meeting about that following this meeting as well. So.
Okay, very fine. Is there anybody from the public who will comment on this issue, either for or against? Seeing nobody, raise their hand. We'll close the public comment. Jill, do you have any?
We also, no, I'm
That's
good.
for the dance studio.
Yes, that's the dance studio.
Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Fidesco, if you will.
I only have one question regarding the rooms for the music lessons. Will you be adding any type of sound baffling or anything, that, because I don't know what kind of instruments you're going to use.
Yeah, it's
teaching,
mostly,
but-
it's not going to be very loud, like acoustic guitar, and if we do electric guitar, it's just, low volume, so I don't think it'll be, I don't think it will really be an issue, no.
Okay.
So we don't plan on adding anything.
I didn't think you would, but it's just something I wanted to ask for the home audience, and just in case somebody might have a sound, question.
Sure.
Okay. Good luck. I don't have any other questions.
Commissioner Van Buren?
The building next to you has a second floor?
No,
Immediately to the north of you. Is that all single story?
It's a single story, yeah, actually on either side.
And it's vacant?
Yeah,
And it's vacant, okay. So for now, the sound is not going to be much of a,
yeah, and it's just like one-on-one instruments, so it's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
no drums or anything really loud, so I
okay,
don't think it would be
okay.
an issue.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Commissioner Phil?
Yes, just a couple comments. What category of art was that drawing done with? Is that
This one? Well,
it's very,
Impressionistic.
yes, very nice. Anyway, I just wanted to say too publicly that I want to thank you and your family. I think you bring such a wonderful business to our downtown area. I love the whole ukulele concept. And I know you participate in so many different events with the music and ride on floats. And I just want you to know that that stuff's appreciated, because that's what makes towns really have a great feeling to them. And your business is one that really goes out of their way to do that. I'm all for this 100%.
thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas?
I'm glad you need the extra space, and hope you need more. Good luck.
Thanks.
I can only echo my fellow commissioners' comments that I hope you need more space too. Happy to see you succeeding. Okay, since we have a request for a special use, we need a reading of the findings of fact, if you would, please.
Uncle John's Music at 33 North Cass requests for a special use to operate educational classes on the second floor in the B1 Limited Business District. Criteria number 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. The proposed use will be completely enclosed and will operate during normal business hours and early evenings. Music and arts-based classes will not be detrimental to the public welfare. Criteria 2, the special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. The proposed use will not result in adverse noise, light, vibration, traffic, or operating hours, and will not impact surrounding property owners. The applicant currently provides music lessons at its first floor space in the same building without issues to surrounding property owners. Criteria 3, the establishment of the special use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. The surrounding area is fully developed, and this use will occupy an existing building. As such, this use will not impact the development or redevelopment of surrounding properties. Criteria 4, adequate utilities, accessways, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. The property is currently served by adequate utilities, accessways, and other necessary facilities, and no new facilities are planned except for new fire alarm equipment required by village codes. Criteria 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. Most students will be dropped off by their parents. Class sizes are limited to approximately 12 students and no more than 3 instructors. This proposed use will not unreasonably increase traffic congestion in the central business district, and sufficient off-street parking is available. Criteria 6, the special use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, except as such regulations may in each instance be modified by the village board pursuant to the recommendation of the Plan Commission. The proposed use otherwise meets the use requirements of the B1 Limited Business District, and since no new construction is planned, the use meets the other codes and ordinances of the village. Criteria 7, the proposed use meets the special conditions of Special Condition 2. The proposed use will not cause appreciable traffic congestion or hazard to pedestrian safety. Class sizes are limited. Sufficient off-street parking is available on the property. Many students will be dropped off by their parents, and there are sufficient public transportation options.
If you agree with this, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. The findings of fact for a special use are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees, Planning and Zoning Item 14015. Item A, special use permit request to operate educational classes on the second floor in the B1 Limited Business District.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Thomas, seconded by Commissioner Fidesco. Do we have a question on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Chairman Richard?
Yes. All right, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Next item, Planning and Zoning Item 14016, U.S. Bank regarding the property located at 6301 South Cass Avenue, Westmont, for the following. Item A, zoning code variance request to increase the number of allowable signs. Item B, special use permit request to operate a bank, including an accessory drive-in facility in the C1 Commercial Business District. Item C, special use permit request to operate a bank with an on-premise ATM in the C1 Commercial Business District. Good evening, sirs.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Mike Fossauer from US Bank, and this is Guy, he's with our sign company.
My name's Guy Dragosick, Olympic Sign Company.
And
Thank you.
as I'm sure you're aware, we purchased the Charter One franchise in Illinois, and so we're looking forward to serving the Westmont community, and wanted to come before you to request to have the signage obviously changed from Charter One to US Bank, and we are going to be basically putting the signs in the same place where they're currently at now. And I guess I'll have Guy kind of speak a little bit more to that.
Yes, what we're proposing here is to remove the obelisk, that three-sided pylon sign you see in the lower right-hand corner, and replace it with a low-profile ground sign, monument sign. Sign will be shifted back to meet setback requirements. and there will be a new footing. And as I heard in the earlier case, we could put an address on there, wouldn't be any problem whatsoever. The signs themselves being proposed are 2 wall signs that are going to exactly the same place where the 2 current Charter 1 signs are going. The signs themselves meet code in as far as allowable square footage. The only thing is that we're asking for your approval for a second wall sign where only one is permitted. Right now, 124 square foot is permitted. We are proposing a total of all signs of 121. And that would include the 2 wall signs at 44 each square feet, the monument sign at 27, and then the small sign over the ATM. And basically, we're just replacing what's there. Oh, and the channel letters will be regular channel letters internally illuminated, mounted on a raceway. So, any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Thank you very much. Will anybody from the public speak on this issue? Close the public comment. Staff?
Banks require a special use in the C1 business district where this is located. That includes the ATM and the drive-through use. And the special use does not run with the property. So the new bank has to submit for a new special use when they move in. Our police department has written a memo stating that they are comfortable with the new ATMs. And the sign proposal is within, it's actually less than what the previous bank had. And we're also very pleased to see a low-lying monument sign with the 6-inch address numbers to be added, which will make for a good appearance at a high-visibility corridor.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas, if you would.
It seems like a no-brainer. It's a bank for bank and sign for sign, and even coming in under what the previous bank had square footage-wise. And good luck and welcome.
We look forward to serving Westmont for sure.
Commissioner Pill.
I too think it's a good plan. I have no problems or questions. I hope you'll consider joining our Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Van Buren.
Charter Bank was my bank, so I hope you do as well as they did for me.
We certainly will.
Commissioner Fidesco.
Just a couple comments. As far as the being on a corner, I think that the 2 signs, one on each side makes a whole lot of sense. I just, our code is a little unique that it only counts one side as the front. So I don't have a problem with that. And I actually compliment you on actually making the signs less than what the allowable is. I know it's only a few feet, but that's great. So many people come in here, so many businesses come in here and request all kinds of signs because that's their corporate, layout. And, I'm just so happy that you guys are falling within our code. Good luck.
Sure.
I again welcome you into our community, and I hope you do fantastic.
Thank you.
And Chairman, I would just point out, since it's part of the findings of fact, that for the ATM, with the memo from the Deputy Police Chief mentions that there's a low crime area. There are, I believe, up to 10 security cameras outside, including one right above the ATM, sufficient lighting for the ATM. You mentioned he saw no problems. And I think for the drive-through lanes, sufficient queuing exists, and there are no known problems with the previous bank's operation at this location. Okay. Thought I'd throw that out there for the record.
Sounds good, John. All right, since we have a zoning code variance request, may we have reading of the findings of fact?
U.S. Bank at 6301 South Cass requests for a variance to increase the number of allowable signs. The criteria 1, the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return if permitted to be used only under the conditions allowed by the regulations in the district in which it is located. The property was most recently used as a bank, which maintained the same number of signs as proposed by the applicant's bank. The additional signage is required to clearly identify this use to customers as the bank is located on a corner lot. The property is located along a busy commercial corridor, and the signage is needed to alert and inform customers and to help the bank yield a reasonable return on its investment. Criteria 2, the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances. The property is located on a corner lot and along a busy commercial thoroughfare, thus necessitating the additional signage. Additionally, the bank includes an ATM for which separate signage is required. All of the proposed signs combined will comply with the overall sign area requirements, and the existing pole sign will be replaced with a more modest and attractive ground sign. Criteria 3, the variation, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. The total area of signage at this location will actually be decreased from what currently exists on the property. The total number of signs proposed will remain the same as what currently exists on the property. The proposed signs are commercially and aesthetically appropriate for this commercial district and will not alter the essential character of the area.
If you agree with these findings, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. The findings of fact for a zoning code variance are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to Board of Trustees, Planning and Zoning, item 14016, item A, the zoning code variance request to increase the number of allowable signs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pill, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. Question on the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yes.
Chairman Richard?
Yes. Okay, we have a special use request for item B. May we have a reading, please?
U.S. Bank, 6301 South Cass, request for a special use to allow a bank with an accessory drive-in facility in the C1 Commercial Business District. Criteria 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. A bank has recently operated at this location with an accessory drive-in facility pursuant to a special use permit. This previous drive-in was operated without issue. Sufficient space exists for cars to queue in the drive-in lanes, and the applicant is proposing no changes to the site layout. The proposed drive-in lane, located in a busy commercial corridor, will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare. Criteria 2, the special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. The drive-in bank service will not result in adverse noise, light, traffic, odor, or hours of operation. A previous bank with drive-in service operated at this location without issue to surrounding property owners. The drive-in service will not impair surrounding property values. Criteria 3, the establishment of the special use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. The applicant will use an existing building which recently housed a bank, and the applicant is proposing no changes to the site layout. The reuse of this existing building and drive-in lane will not impact the ability of surrounding properties to develop. Criteria 4, adequate utilities, access ways, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. The property is adequately served by all necessary utilities, access ways, and other necessary facilities, and no new services or facilities are required. Criteria 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. The property contains sufficient means of ingress and egress, and the property contains sufficient off-street parking. This use is not expected to generate adverse amounts of traffic. Criteria 6, the special use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, except as such regulations may in each instance be modified by the village board pursuant to the recommendation of the Plan Commission. The proposed use otherwise meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance, and the only variance sought is for signage. Criteria 7, the proposed use meets the special conditions of Special Condition 2. The proposed drive-in use will not result in appreciable traffic congestion or hazard to pedestrian safety. The drive-in lanes currently exist and have been used for years by another bank without incident. This use is not expected to generate unreasonably large amounts of traffic, and the property is served by PACE bus lines. Sufficient off-street parking exists on the property, and the drive-in lanes have sufficient space for cars to queue up while awaiting service.
If you agree with this, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. The findings of fact for a special use are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees. Item B, a special use permit request to operate a bank, including an accessory drive-in facility in the C1 Commercial Business District.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Van Buren, seconded by Commissioner Fidesco. A question on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes, and Chairman Richard?
Yes. Okay, we have another special use. May we have a reading of the findings of fact, please?
Request for a special use to allow U.S. Bank at 6301 South Cass Avenue to have an on-premise ATM machine in the C1 Commercial Business District. Criteria 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. A bank has recently operated at this location with an accessory ATM facility pursuant to a special use permit. This previous ATM was operated without issue. The bank and the ATM will have a combined 10 outside security cameras and sufficient lighting exists for the ATM. The proposed ATM, located in a busy commercial corridor, will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare. Criteria 2, the special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. The proposed ATM will not result in adverse noise, light, traffic, odor, litter, or hours of operation. A previous bank with an ATM operated at this location without issue to surrounding property owners. Incidents of theft in the area are low. The drive-in service will not impair surrounding property values. Criteria 3, the establishment of the special use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. The applicant will use an existing building which recently housed a bank, and the applicant is proposing no changes to the site layout. The reuse of this existing building with an ATM will not impact the ability of surrounding properties to develop. Criteria 4, adequate utilities, access ways, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. The property is adequately served by all necessary utilities, access ways, and other necessary facilities, and no new services or facilities are required. Criteria 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. The property contains sufficient means of ingress and egress, and the property contains sufficient off-street parking. This use is not expected to generate adverse amounts of traffic. Criteria 6, the special use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, except as such regulations may in each instance be modified by the village board pursuant to the recommendation of the Plan Commission. The proposed use otherwise meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance, and the only variance sought is for signage. Criteria 7, the proposed use meets the special conditions of Special Condition 8. Adequate security and safety measures will be in place for the proposed ATM. Specifically, the bank and ATM will have 10 outdoor security cameras and sufficient lighting. The facility is already designed for a drive-up ATM, which has operated for years at the site without issue. Surrounding properties are zoned commercial and will not be impacted by this use. Crime rates in the area are low, and this use is not expected to result in an increase in crime. Sufficient improvements are in place to allow for the safe flow of traffic and protections for pedestrians.
If you agree with these findings, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. The findings of fact for a special use are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees. Item C, special use permit request to operate a bank with an on-premise ATM in the C1 Commercial Business District.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Fidesco, seconded by Commissioner Van Buren. Question on the motion? A roll call, please.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
And Chairman Richard?
Yes. All right, sirs, you have our recommendation to the Board of Trustees, and welcome to Westmont.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Planning and zoning item 14017, Gobbin Auto Group regarding the property located at 150 West Ogden Avenue for the following. Special use permit request to allow the sale of used automobiles in the B2 General Business District. Item B, zoning code variance request to permit the sale of used automobiles within 500 feet of a residence district. Good evening, sir.
Evening, my name is Joe Gabin. I'm the dealer principal at Gabin Auto Group, and my partner Trevor Clark here. Just a brief background on our company. We've been around since 2003. We currently have 3 locations, one in Oaklawn Mazda, in Bridgeview, and one in Warrenville. The facility that most resembles what we are proposing here is the one in Warrenville. It's a pre-owned, high-end used vehicle, car and motorcycle operation. We currently stock over there about 100 cars and 100 motorcycles, all indoors. our business is centered around internet and by appointment kind of business. Most of our customers come in on an appointment, and about 75% of the time it results into a sale. So it's not a high-traffic, high-congestion kind of operation. It's pretty subdued, and some people think we sell 4 or 5 cars a month, where in fact we sell about 100 cars and motorcycles out of that location. We are not proposing a customer service facility, at least anytime soon. We will condition the cars and the motorcycles that we will sell. We're not proposing any additional lighting for the site or any additional impact on the neighbors and surrounding properties. Most of our vehicles will be stored inside at this facility. Most of our vehicles will be stored inside. There's about probably 25, 30 spaces outside the building that could be used for vehicle display, and once we tap into the customer parking and the employee parking. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, if you could show
This-
the pictures, that is this indicative?
This
What's
would be
in our
indicative
packet?
what would happen, what would our facility would be on Ogden Avenue. What you're looking at right now is about 75 cars on display. It's very subdued kind of display. It's just white ceilings and no need for tile or granite on the floor. It's just industrial look, and just it's for the car lovers.
So this is pretty much what we could expect to see if you,
It plus or minus, yeah.
okay, then,
What you don't see in this picture is our motorcycle business. We are stocking about 100 motorcycles. The average motorcycle that we carry is about $12,000, $13,000, so they're not beaters or speed bikes, mostly Harley Davidsons and trikes and that kind of stuff.
okay, then, since you are also asking for a variance, you have to show the hardship or allude to the hardship. If I may help you, you're taking over an existing building that is built next to a residential district.
Okay.
So
The current building, the way it stands, was built as a car dealership. As everybody knows, that car dealership is no longer there, and Chevrolet has pulled the franchise from the people that own the dealership. The situation of that property as it stands today, it's a beautiful facility, but unfortunately, there's not going to be a new car franchise coming to occupy that building anytime soon. And it's been vacant long enough. The site as it stands and the building as it stands, the site is too small for the size of the building and too small to attract a new car franchise to come in or a new car franchise to be moved from other part of town. This building was built wrong. It was built without land. We have a niche market for it where our business does not require a lot of offices. Our business does not require a lot of service. It does not require a lot of vehicles. It's a specialty and niche business that we've carved for ourselves in Warrenville, the same scenario. And I think staff has been at our facility, and they can attest to that. If we can't use it for this purpose, I don't know who can use it for whatever purpose. And time has shown for the last, 4 years, 5 years it's been vacant, that not many people have found a good use for it.
Mm-hmm.
We have.
Okay, the attorney has also suggested that, could you put up a drawing showing the home audience and everybody the parking as to the outside parking?
The outside parking? I'm sorry, I had prepared an electronic presentation. I didn't realize there was no laptop up here.
No problem.
There you go. Distance from residential there.
So this is Ogden Avenue. This is Adams. And this is the restaurant next door. I'm not sure what restaurant is going in. Back here, there's residential properties going this way and this way. Our proposal will not affect these folks whatsoever, that they were not affected when it was a new car dealership. Actually, it's going to be a whole lot less because we don't bring a whole lot of customers in. On average, we will be bringing in 5 customers a day, if that. We're not a high-impact operation. So our car display will be coming in, most likely right now is coming off of Ogden and going through the overhead doors that are back here and going inside and getting stored inside the building. There's also a garage door back here that was being used for in and out of the service department. That could be used in and out at times, but again, the amount of cars that we store and come in and out, it's not intrusive on the neighbors. I've walked over and talked to a couple of neighbors on that street, and I did not get any negative feelings from either neighbor that opened the door that day.
Okay, very good, sir. Will anybody from the public speak on this issue, either for or against? Seeing nobody raising their hands, we'll close the public comment. Staff?
Used auto sales require a special use in the B2 district. And as the applicant mentioned, the site plan works well for his needs because there's very little parking on the site. There's only about 25 spaces, which meets his employee and customer needs because he is preparing to house all of his inventory indoors, which is very similar to his Warrenville facility, which Larry Forsberg and I toured a couple months ago, where all of the motorcycles and used cars were housed inside. So,
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Fidesco, if you would.
I don't know how much research you did on Westmont, but we've had at least 2, if not 3, entities at a used car facility east of here, where you're proposing, east of actually Cass on the south side of Ogden, and none of them have been successful with used car, sales. And now, and at least 2 of them were high-end car sales. They've failed. I'm not a proponent of used car sales. In fact, this particular building, you said it was built wrong. It could be used as something else. I mean, there are other facilities in town that are empty dealerships that are probably more desirable, from a dealership standpoint and for sales of automobiles. This one, I'm not really for it, and I really don't have any questions. I mean, I saw your facility, and it's just like, to me, it's a whole bunch of cars crammed into a small space, and knowing what I know about the used car business in town, I don't think it's going to go. So that's my comments.
Commissioner Van Buren?
To further that story, if you go west on Ogden Avenue, we have had non-franchise luxury high-end dealerships come and go. Remember, Luxury Motors, World Class Motors, and I'm sure there are more. They're all gone. The only
World
ones
Class is
that
still
remain are franchise, other than a couple small operations, not necessarily high-end, and they're in downers. What makes you different from what we've experienced along Ogden Avenue with your dealership being non-franchise, high-end luxury car? What makes you different?
Our experience counts. We've been around for 11 years. What has taken some people down is being undercapitalized, being not associated with a franchise, We've had a franchise for 11 years. The nature of this business is if you're not a franchise dealer, you cannot get banks to sign you up. You cannot get floor plan. And when the economy hit hard back in 07, 08, 09, a lot of these small operators, the banks dropped them because the banks did not want non-franchise dealers. Being part of an auto group like Gavin Auto Group, we are considered a franchise dealer, even though this particular site does not have a franchise on it. We are associated with the franchise. And the biggest thing with these guys, they were not able to weather the storm. And there was a storm. We weathered it. We were expanding. We opened our Ultimo location in Warrenville about 18 months ago, and we're doing just fine. And the fact that we want to expand it tells you that we're doing just fine. It's not a huge operation. We're going to keep it nice and tight and well capitalized, and we're local residents. We're not coming here to fail, and we're not coming here to just expand or build and sell. We're here to operate it and make it successful. If the other locations that may have failed, World Class, by the way, is still around, has been around as long as Luxury Motors was around. I think Luxury Motors we all know why they failed. They failed because poor service, they were not taking care of customers, and expanded into the West Coast and did all kinds of stuff, and that's why they failed. And they sold part of the operation, and there was a lot of rigmarole that went with that. The other location that you're talking about, was it Alpha Motors?
Alpha Motors.
The most recent was Alpha.
They did not have any banks. They had no floor plan. They had no banks to finance their customers. They were doing everything cash. You want to buy a car, come buy a car and pay by check. They had no finance for customers, and they had no finance for their own inventory. We know the operation. We're different.
What is your franchise association?
We have a Mazda store, Oakland Mazda.
Okay.
And we have a JD Byrider in Bridgeview also.
But you won't be marketing new cars out of this location, is that right?
No, but when you have a franchise, you have the banks that you need to run your business. Our lines of credit are large, and they're ready to go.
Well, you've answered my question. That's all.
Commissioner Pill?
I think Commissioner Van Buren asked most of my questions also, thank you. And I don't really have any problems with this. I heard your presentation at the Economic Development Council, and I had a chance to take a look at some of the data on your other locations and your websites and things like that, and everything looked pretty solid. Thanks.
Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas?
I like the challenge that has just been laid down to you guys. And your comeback will be to be here in a year and still be in business, even though it's no one else wants the building. You found, like you say, a niche to do what you do. And if it doesn't work, you won't be here. But if you're right, you will be here. And we welcome you.
Further to that, to your point, if this does not work, we own the real estate. We own it to do something with it. I have 22 years of experience doing real estate deals. This is not my first real estate acquisition. My history speaks for itself. I bought the old city hall in the city of Naperville that was vacant for 4 years and turned it into what it is today, the Egg Harbor building in downtown Naperville. It was vacant, nobody wanted it. I found a use for it, made it into retail and restaurants, and it's still successful to this day. That was 1996. I have a long history of over 25 real estate transactions, commercial real estate transactions for the past few years. It's not my first deal.
That's all I have.
I myself, I like your entrepreneurial spirit, and to be quite frank with you, I'm delighted to have you come in here selling cars. I don't care, new, used, or what. I'm a proponent of, this building has sat vacant for 4, 5, 6 years, done nothing for us. And here we have a chance to get some serious sales tax dollars. I welcome you with open arms, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Some questions?
Yes, but one caveat though, test driving your automobiles
And motorcycles.
and motorcycles
We've
will not be
we've sold.
appreciated on the side streets.
Let me expand on that. We've sold 200 motorcycles since we started selling motorcycles. We've had 2 test drives. The amazing thing is nobody test drives them. They just buy them. They buy them, trailer them, put them in the garage, and bring out a Bud Light, and they look at it.
Well, like I say,
Nobody seems to drive these things.
if there were to be test drives, it would be appreciated if they weren't done on the side streets
Absolutely.
to impact the residents.
Well, we are in a high-end office park in Warrenville, as you saw. I mean, it's all high-end corporate centers, and we're aware of the sensitivity of being in residential areas and commercial areas.
Okay. I'm told our attorney has some questions for you also.
Yeah, just a few questions and comments. You're not proposing any vehicle repairs at this time?
We want to repair our own vehicles. That when we get a car from whether it's trade, auction, from another dealer, we run it through a complete service inspection. So our intention is we will keep a couple of bays for our use.
So my question is, I believe auto repairs require a separate special use, and I don't know if the reconditioning that they're proposing rises to the level of auto repairs or not.
Right.
It's conditioning.
Yeah, I thought that the intention was service, not, because you're not taking damaged vehicles, correct?
We're not taking damaged vehicles. We're not, we don't have a sign above the service door that says service open. I mean, it's just, we get a car, we just need to inspect it and do brakes on it. We will not be even be doing.
No body work,
Oh, no, absolutely not.
no painting?
No,
Okay,
no. We will detail, we will condition.
okay. The service bays, where are those located?
The service bays are currently located in this area along this wall, back wall, and along this wall. You have a floor plan? It's kind of faint to see, but, once again, Ogden Avenue, and service is back here, and Adams is here.
Okay, sometimes a question comes up regarding service bays. Either they're fronting onto a main commercial corridor and they're unsightly, or they're fronting onto residential and noise emits into the neighborhood from work that's being done. Sounds like the work's just minor reconditioning, et cetera, so the potential for noise is not great, but it's a concern. It may come up at the board level. If the doors are open summertime and you're banging away in there, you can get some neighbor complaints.
There's no reason for the doors to be open, and
Would you agree? So with the special use, the village can impose special conditions reasonably designed to protect the public, surrounding property owners. And I'll get to that in a minute, but I guess one of the special conditions could be that the garage door bays, the service door bays remain closed during times when you're conditioning
Right.
automobiles.
Absolutely.
You'd be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little space in the rear yard between the building and the fence, and it's asphalted back there, I believe.
Yes.
Is any activity?
It's not actually asphalted, it's grass, and it's kind of depressed area, so it drains down into a,
Oh, it's grass, okay. I couldn't tell from the black and white site plan. So no activities going on back there, is that correct?
no, nothing is going on back there.
There's a fence currently? Do you know
Yes.
the condition of the fence? What type of fence?
I
is it?
think it's all intact. and-
Yeah, it looks like a 6-foot board and board.
Yeah, and I think there's even 2-3 trees along that.
Yeah, there's trees in addition that are on the applicant's property line.
The write-up said that, the primary storage of vehicles will be indoors, and there may be some storage display of vehicles outdoors.
Absolutely.
We've got an outdoor parking lot with actually a decent number of parking spaces compared to the number of customers and employees you're going to have. What we normally require is a site plan, even a rough site plan, doesn't even have to be professionally drawn, that would indicate spaces that are designated for customers and employees
Okay.
versus those that are designated for display of automobiles. And one thing the village has been concerned about in the past with certain used car operators is that they cram as many vehicles, they fear that they cram too many vehicles on the site to get as many, vehicles as possible out
We're
there.
hoarders.
What's that?
We hoard cars, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Again, this fronts onto an important commercial corridor of the village. What I would recommend when you get to the village board level is a site plan showing striping and the number of cars, that the maximum number of cars you would want to display and where they would be displayed in that parking lot area,
Right.
as well as parking that's reserved for your customers and employees.
the parking lot is currently striped, I believe, and you can still see the striping, and then we'll display it for the zoning board as.
For the
as
village
currently-
board, which is the next step.
As it currently
Have
stands.
some information on that? Lots of times dealers like to display automobiles within the front yard setback close to Ogden Avenue or other commercial road. Is there any plans to do that here?
No.
Okay. And then my last comment is the village typically imposes these reasonable special conditions on automobile dealerships, whether they're new or used, including things like no streamers or balloons or blow-up Godzillas advertising sales, no loudspeakers outdoors, reasonable stuff like that to keep the automobile dealerships first class.
We don't even do that in Oakland.
So I'll make you aware of that, and if you want to see those special conditions in advance, reach out to us staff, and Jill can get you a copy of the ordinance before the village board meeting.
Staff would also recommend not allowing parking on the side streets for employees.
That's one of the other, things. To the chairman's comments, no test driving on residential or side streets, and employee parking on the public streets. We've had a problem with auto dealers, again, packing cars for display on the property and not leaving any room for their employees, so the employees crowd into the neighborhoods and cause problems.
Okay.
The other problem is unloading. If you're getting transports in, where are you going to unload them? On Adams in front of your property?
On Adams, yes. Which is exactly what Lincoln is doing right now, right?
I've also,
Permissible, and I don't think the police department's it happens, I know, but I don't think they like to see it.
I see, okay.
I think the preference is to get them on site if there's space on site, or in this case, there's a side street, right, that's not
Well,
adjacent
it's
to
just in front of
residential.
his property, and so it should be, if we're done there, it's difficult to unload them in a lot.
Yeah.
It's preferable to be on site, but they're not allowed to do it on Ogden because we've had accidents before
Okay.
with the dealers.
Any further comments, questions? Okay. Since we have a request for a special use, maybe we have a reading of the findings of fact, please.
Gaben Auto Group at 150 West Ogden Avenue requests for a special use to allow the sales of used automobiles in the B2 General Business District. Criteria 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. An automobile dealership previously existed on this property, and automobile dealerships are located throughout the Ogden Avenue commercial corridor. These other automobile dealerships have not impacted the public health, safety, and welfare. The storage and sales of vehicles by the applicant will occur primarily indoors in an existing building, and special conditions will be imposed to further protect the public. As such, this proposed use will not adversely impact the public health, safety, and welfare. Criteria 2, the special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. The applicant is not developing the property with new improvements. Vehicles will be primarily, if not entirely, stored indoors in the existing building upon the property, and sales activities will occur indoors. The unloading of vehicles will be minimal given the limited space of this property. The property was previously used as an automobile dealership without a significant impact to surrounding properties, and this new use is not expected to impact property values or impair the use and enjoyment of surrounding properties. Criteria 3, the establishment of the special use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. Surrounding properties are fully developed, and the use of this already developed property will not impair the redevelopment opportunities for surrounding properties. The proposed use will not be a detriment to the redevelopment of surrounding properties. Criteria 4, adequate utilities, accessways, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. The property is fully developed and served by adequate utilities, accessways, and other facilities. Criteria 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. The proposed business will sell cars primarily through the internet and will have limited customer visits on site. Sufficient off-street parking exists to accommodate customers and employees. The property has sufficient access onto Ogden Avenue. Criteria 6, the special use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, except as such regulations may in each instance be modified by the village board pursuant to the recommendation of the Planning Commission. The use conforms to the other applicable regulations of the B2 district. However, the applicant is seeking and requires a variance to allow this use to be located within 500 feet of a residential district. Criteria 7, the proposed use meets the special conditions of Special Condition 2. This use is not expected to create appreciable traffic congestion or hazard to pedestrian safety. The proposed business will sell cars primarily through the internet and will have limited customer visits on site. Sufficient off-street parking exists to accommodate customers and employees. The property has sufficient access onto Ogden Avenue. Criteria 8, the proposed use meets the special conditions of Special Condition 4. Although the proposed use does not meet Special Condition 4 in that it is located within 500 feet of a residential district, the applicant is seeking a variance for this special condition. Criteria 9, the proposed use meets the special conditions of Special Condition 7. The applicant complies with Special Condition 7, which requires an approved landscaping plan providing for the screening from view of vehicles awaiting service or customer pickup, or provided that there shall be enclosed storage of all vehicles awaiting service or customer pickup. In this case, all vehicles for sale or awaiting customer pickup or service will be stored indoors.
If you agree with these findings, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. Therefore, the findings of fact for a special use permit are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees. Planning and Zoning Item 14017. Item A, special use permit request to allow the sale of used automobiles in the B2 General Business District.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, seconded by Commissioner Pill. Question on the motion? A roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Commissioner Tedesco?
No.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes, and Chairman Richard.
Yes. Okay, we have a request for a variance. Could we have a reading of the findings of fact, please?
Gavin Auto Group at 150 West Ogden requests for a variance to allow the sale of used automobiles within 500 feet of a residential district. Criteria number 1, the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return if permitted to be used only under the conditions allowed by the regulations in the district in which it is located. The property was designed and previously used as an automobile dealership and is best suited for an automobile dealership use. The applicant did not develop the original automobile dealership on this property and did not create this hardship. If this variance were denied, the property could not yield a reasonable return. Criteria number 2, the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances. The lack of separation from the residential district is mitigated by the fact that all or virtually all vehicle storage and sales will take place indoors. Additionally, the rear of the property contains a fence shielding the property from the residential district to the north. Criteria 3, the variation, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. The property was originally developed and most recently used as an automobile dealership. Vehicle storage will occur indoors. Off-street parking is located to the south, away from the residence district. No vehicle storage or significant business activities will occur in the rear of the property adjacent to the residential district.
If you agree with this, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. The findings of fact for a zoning code variance are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees. Item B, a zoning code variance request to permit the sale of used automobiles within 500 feet of a residence district.
So move.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, seconded by Commissioner Van Buren. Question on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Commissioner Fidesco?
No.
And Chairman Richard.
Yes. All right, sir, you have our recommendation for approval, and staff can tell you when you go before the village board.
Thank you very much.
I wish you the best of luck, sir. Planning and zoning item 14018, Expressions Dance Studio regarding the property located at 29 North Cass Avenue for the following. A, special use permit request to operate a ground floor dance studio in the B1 Limited Business District. Item B, zoning code variance request to reduce the number of required off-street parking stalls for the purpose of operating a dance studio in the B1 Limited Business District. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Amber Alonso. I'm the owner of Expression Dance Studio. We've been right down the street here at 21 Quincy for the past 5 years. When we opened our doors, we had 50 families, and now we have over 400 students at our facility and over 300 families. So we've experienced wonderful growth in Westmont. We were welcomed by the community. I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce since 2009. We've been very involved in Westmont, and it has been paying off great. And now we've come across the issue that our facility is no longer able to maintain our students. We use the space in 21 Quincy as well as rent from the Village Park District. So we are trying to expand our location to continue to grow our business that has shown great success in Westmont. We'd like to stay in Westmont. We've been involved in a lot of activities and festivities, and anything we can be a part of, we like to be a part of. We've taught at the Westmont Middle School, the public library. We attend any event held by the village. So we would like to continue to flourish and grow in this community and hopefully be able to move into the larger location.
Okay, very good. Could you address the issue of the variance, the hardship as it pertains to you, perhaps the limited number of spaces available, everything is built out, et cetera?
Absolutely. So the parking issue, I would like to start by the facility that we're in now. We don't have very much parking there either. So from day one, we've worked around. We have an extensive drop-off system where the families don't stay. So they either drop their student off and then they go down the street and have dinner, or they go home for 45 minutes, or they hang out at the library. So we've, from day one, built our business around this is more of a drop-off situation to help avoid the situation of the parking. So moving into the downtown Cass, we actually will have a little bit more parking than we've had now, which is kind of great, and I know it sounds funny, but there are 2 public parking lots, both on the corner of the block that we're on. One is on Irving and Cass, and one is on the northern Burlington train track and Cass Avenue. We will have both of those facilities, as well as there is parking on the side of our building, which is shared with the coffee shop next door. But with the drop-off, it'll actually be incredibly ideal because they can turn right into the lot, and then they can exit through the alley in the back. So hopefully there would be no congestion or anything like that. And we would certainly schedule our times so that classes all wouldn't end at the same time or start at the same time, to just help prevent however many students coming and going at the same time. Yes. And I'm sorry, the other question is for the, okay.
Oh, I think you covered it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is there anybody from the public who will speak on this? Seeing nobody raising their hands, staff.
We've had some public input regarding the request for the dance studio. We've received a positive letter from Alki Media, which I've included for the commissioners regarding he'd like to go on record as being in favor of the relocation, and he feels that this would be a good addition to the mix of businesses along Cass. He feels that the dance studio would skew the younger demographics and pull from a large number of suburbs. And he feels this would be a boon to the area, and he looks forward to this addition. We've also met with Sweet and Savory, whom Amber has met with as well. They've had some concerns about noise and parking. Staff shares those concerns. Amber has put together a parking plan, which I'd like for her to go over in detail. And then she's also provided some information on how she plans to mitigate noise coming from the studios. In this instance, there's going to be 3 dance studios. They could all be going at the same time. And there's concerns, regarding the next door business, hearing, whether it's, different noise or, students, whatever. This could also be a positive impact in terms of, students and parents using the next door restaurants and other areas of business in the downtown. So anyway, I'd just like for that to be a discussion item, both noise and parking. And then I will pass out Amber's attachments regarding the her noise implementation.
Yes. So regarding the parking, I did meet with the owners of the Sweet and Savory Spot, and we discussed my parking situation, as well as they were really nice, and we had really great conversation and feedback regarding there's dumpsters in the back of our building where some of the faculty park, some of the business owners park that, and we've discussed how we could share the space, how not only will my faculty park in the rear area where there are a few limited spaces, I've also went and got a application for the employee parking in downtown Westmont. So we would get a parking permit for 4 of our staff members, and including out of our 12 staff members, 6 of them live right off the BNSF train line. So we have discussed this, as well as it will be included in their contracts for the following year. That's how they will travel. So it will limit the parking in that situation. And then I did go over the drop-off situation, how we would make that go as smooth as possible, and that hopefully the parking in the 2 public lots, as well as the street parking, and taking our employees as much as we can out of the situation won't cause any of the parking issues that we may see that may be concerning. And regarding the sound, you have the detailed packets of the interior design. So this is for drywall that we are doing a full build out inside the facility. So to start with, they will be in their own separate units, and the drywall is completely to do almost 90% soundproofing from the glue, from how it's insulated, all of the above. My architect knows it a little bit better than I do, but that's something that we will be doing, as well as then there is a hallway and then our connecting walls for the business next door. So hopefully that it's not a speaker on shared walls or anything like that. It'll be in contained rooms. And the reason that the soundproofing is very important to us as well is, like Jill said, we'll be having 3 studios going at the same time. So if we didn't soundproof the rooms, we really wouldn't have very many productive classes going on if we can't, hear the music in their own separate rooms as well. So it's definitely top on our priority list. And I know there was also an issue of possibly in the basement, if the business were to enter the basement. I spoke with the broker of the building, and we went over all the details that the basement is, my floor is concrete, so he didn't see any issues with the bouncing or any reverberation of things like that from the basement if a business were to enter later down the line in the basement of that facility as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Jill, you've covered everything
Yes.
now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Thomas, if you would.
I'm glad you're where you're at. I'm glad you outgrew it. I'm glad you found something in the city that will take care of your future needs so you don't go anywhere. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Pill?
Just a couple of questions, and I may need John or Jill's input on this. So are you planning on doing all of these steps?
Yes.
And so how is compliance gauged?
Well, I wrote down as a, to add as a condition to the special use ordinance that they comply with the soundproofing plan as presented to this commission. I know there are periodic inspections during the build-out process because they have to get permits, and there are inspections along the way. So I think it's going to be incumbent on Jill just to make a note to the inspectors to look at the soundproofing.
Right.
And the other option is if there are complaints about sound, if she's done all the soundproofing, it is what it is. If she hasn't done the soundproofing and we investigate after complaints, then we'd say,
Busted.
problem. Yeah,
No,
busted.
right.
And I guess I could see this question coming up, and I don't think we've ever dealt with something like this, so they're good enough to go ahead and do the construction the right way, and the sound still makes it difficult to enjoy your dinner, or perhaps there's enough vibration, I don't know if that's even possible, where it could interrupt the business on the adjacent side of the hallway. What happens then? Are they just, they're stuck with it then?
Pretty much. I mean, that's something maybe we try and mediate and see if additional measures can be taken, and hopefully, Expressions works with their neighbor to mitigate that, because I don't think they'd want to be a bad neighbor, but at that point, no, there's, aside from putting a sunset clause in and reevaluating this in a year or 2 years, and the problem from the applicant standpoint is they don't want to make a sizable investment if they're only guaranteed a year or two of operating. So, I'm open to suggestions. I know when the proposed live performance hall down the street came in and soundproofing was an issue, and they came in and said, here's how we're going to soundproof it. That was a special condition of the ordinance, but we really didn't address, geez, what happens if people still complain?
Well, and in that case, they were taking the entire property, so here we have a split. This is all one building.
Well, you had tenants upstairs and you had tenants next door too that were concerned about it, and residential. The other thing is we do have standards in our ordinance, noise standards. So we stand out there with a decibel reader and determine whether the sound violates village ordinances.
As well as the coffee shop, they also have live music. So we've discussed how we would be in contact of when certain events are happening. So if we have 3 classrooms and one isn't going at that time, we would go in the rear so that their event wouldn't. So we've been in great communications regarding that. And I think besides the fact that it won't be the wall that we're sharing is the dance studio will be in a 6-foot hallway, and then the buildings, and then the studio rooms.
I saw that. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And then my other question is then, so in any one of the rooms, do you have a portable sound system? Do you have built-in speakers?
It will be built-in speakers. So they'll also, included in the soundproofing is their reverberation acoustic padding. So it will help kind of take in all of the vibrations and that type of noises. So it'll all be a sound system worked off of a unit in each separate room, but all the rooms will be surrounded with the acoustic padding as well.
And is it 4 speakers, 1 in each corner?
No, 2 in each room.
And a 6-foot by 6-foot subwoofer.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm in.
So I'm like concert status.
I've had a lot of experience with this kind of thing in a different
Yeah.
business that I own too, and we use the 2 speakers. I don't know where you're going to mount them, but if you aim them away,
Right.
mounting them on the hallway side, they seem to project the other way, and I think that would go a long way
Right,
towards
so we
less.
already have the plan that the outside wall where the parking lot is, that's gonna be the mirrored. So then they won't be on the wall, they'll be pointing towards the mirror, so it'll be bouncing that way, yes. And another thing that we could do for the speakers as well is instead of mounting them, again, our architect is discussing this, that they can hang them from the ceiling, so then they're not on the wall actually making the reverberation.
Great.
That helps as well.
Well, I was at your grand opening 5 years ago, and I look forward to seeing this one.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Van Buren?
My question is, you are currently in two locations because of your growing business. Is this a consolidation of
Yes.
everything coming to one place?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yeah, I think the other commissioners, especially Commissioner Pill, has addressed all my concerns, so good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, first off, I would like to make sure that the letter from 38 North Cass gets entered as part of the packet,
Yes, we will do that.
expressing their approval. Do you envision an overlap of the working hours? In other words, when the restaurant is closed, will you be open? Or
Yes.
So there's a very good chance that you'll minimize the
Right. And that's what
is.
happened when we moved into our first location. It was so ideal because the bank is on one side and the coffee shop is on the other. So they close during the day. We have baby classes during the day where we're not using our subwoofer because it's the little guys. So then in the evening, the classes start around 5, 6 o'clock, more generalized, the older dancers, and the other surrounding areas are closed down. So the sweet and savory spot, they don't have a set time schedule every day. They said it does alter, but sometimes it's not into the late evenings. So, the conflict won't be as great.
Okay. My other question would be screening of the dance classes from the street. Will they be,
They will not be viewable, no.
okay, very good. And do you envision working, you alluded to drop off and perhaps the parents would go and have a bite to eat. Have you, do you envision working any kind of a coupon deal with
Oh, absolutely.
the restaurants up and down the street?
Absolutely.
I'm sure they,
Yeah, I mean, when we moved into 21 Quincy, again, the businesses all along Quincy Avenue, they're kind of sad if this works out to see us go because the businesses have been flourishing more with all of our students and all of our families that are brought into the business. So any way I could make coupon deals or, promote other businesses, we certainly would do, and do cross promotions and all of those types of
Okay.
things, absolutely.
well, to be honest with you, when I first saw your application or heard of it, not knowing that you were an existing business, I was very much against it.
Okay.
But to see that you're a flourishing existing business in Westmont and seeking to improve and what you can do to the restaurant business as an aside, I'm very happy.
Thank you.
By the way, on any given night, you can look out the back parking lot and watch the pickup and drop-off take place.
Thank you. Yes,
It's pretty well organized.
yes, thank you.
That's just a personal aside.
Okay, any further comments, Commissioner? Okay, since we have a request for a special use, maybe we have a reading of the findings of fact, please.
One more comment. Because this is a special use and a dance studio, the village is not going to be receiving a lot of sales tax, but Amber, I was going to see if you could mention some of the retail sales items that you do sell.
And so besides, we sell all of our dance apparel, our own shoes, our own clothes. The issue that we have in the facility now is we have such limited space to be able to actually promote a full line or a full area designated to that we would be able to have more space now to work on our retail sales. They buy their dance apparel from us, their shoes from us, so everything is in-house, which then hopefully would boost retail sales. Having the additional space would be wonderful for us too, being able to put everything out on the shelves and really advertise and push that stuff. So it'd be very beneficial for us to have this larger space now to be able to push that even further.
Can I ask a question just relating to what you just said? Since primarily your customers are your own students, but if you have a retail space, do you have a website where you can advertise, and do you have an internet business? And
We do.
And will you, have the ability to have retail sales? In other words, walk-in business from other people who might have noticed your dance studio and said, aha, I can get my kids' stuff over there, even though they go somewhere else.
And we've actually had numerous customers come in that attend dance studios and other places, looked it up online, and our business came in. They came in, they bought their tap shoes, and then they go to their separate studio. So on our website, it's called Curtain Call for Class. So it has everything available online that we don't have at our facility. So we have, for the shoes, for instance, we have all of the sizes. So they come and they size from us. At our computer, they enter in the registration, everything ships to their home, everything is all online sales as
So you
well.
do have a reasonable retail business as well, so
Yes.
that is good.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, may we have a reading of the findings of fact for a special use, please?
Expression Dance Studio at 29 North Cass Avenue. Request for a special use to allow a ground floor dance studio in the B1 Limited Business District. Criteria 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. This use has successfully operated in the B1 Limited Business District for years without any adverse impact upon the public health, safety, and welfare. This use at this new location likewise is not anticipated to create any concerns for the public. Criteria 2, the special use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. This use has successfully operated in the B1 Limited Business District for years without any adverse impacts upon surrounding properties. Class size will be limited to 12 students, and this use at this new location is not expected to impair property values or diminish the use and enjoyment of surrounding properties. Criteria 3, the establishment of the special use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. Surrounding properties are fully developed, and this use will not impede or detract from any potential redevelopment opportunities. Criteria 4, adequate utilities, access ways, drainage, and/or other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. The property is currently served by necessary utilities, access, and other facilities. Criteria 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. Given the limited class size and limited number of employees on the property at any one time, this use is not expected to generate significant traffic. Public employee parking spaces exist, and several employees will commute by train. Criteria 6, the special use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it is located, except as such regulations may in each instance be modified by the village board pursuant to the recommendation of the Plan Commission. This use conforms to all other regulations of the zoning district except for the off-street parking requirements, and a variance is being sought by the applicant for off-street parking.
If you agree with these findings, please raise your hand. The findings of fact for special use are hereby adopted. Planning and zoning item 14018, item A. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees a special use permit request to operate a ground floor dance studio in the B1 Limited Business District.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pill, seconded by Commissioner Fidesco. A question on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fidesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pell?
Yes.
And Chairman Richard?
Yes. Okay, we have a request for a zoning code variance. May we have a reading, please?
Request for a variance for Expressions Dance Studio at 29 North Cass Avenue to reduce the number of required off-street parking spaces to allow for a dance studio to operate on the property. Criteria 1, the property in question cannot yield a reasonable return if permitted to be used only under the conditions allowed by the regulations in the district in which it is located. The property was developed with limited off-street parking, and said parking is currently used by other tenants of the property. The applicant did not self-create this parking shortfall for the property, and few properties in the B1 Limited Business District provide sufficient off-street parking. This property cannot yield a reasonable return without this parking variance. Criteria 2, the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances. The applicant did not create this off-street parking shortfall for the property, and sufficient public parking exists for customers and employees. Many customers will be dropped off by their parents, thus limiting the need for off-street parking. Criteria number 3, the variation, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. Many locations within the B1 Limited Business District cannot provide sufficient off-street parking, but adequate public parking exists. In addition, the location is close to public transportation, and the village provides designated public parking spaces for employees. As such, this variance will not alter the essential character of the area.
If you agree with these findings, please raise your hand. We are unanimous in agreement. The findings of fact for variance are hereby adopted. I would entertain a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Trustees. Item B, a zoning code variance request to reduce the number of required off-street parking spaces.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Van Buren, seconded by Commissioner Pill. Question on the motion? May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Pill?
Yes.
Fidesco?
Yes.
Commissioner Van Buren votes yes. And Chairman Richard?
Yes. Right. You have our recommendation for approval, and very happy to see you succeeding so well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Staff?
No other comments?
No comments? Any commissioner comments? Nothing? I would like to comment on staff's getting rid of the old Clark gas station on South Cass Avenue. It looks wonderful.
Great. I'll be sure to pass that on to our code enforcement officers. They've been working hard on that over the past couple of months.
They did a very nice job, and I
Thank
thank
you.
you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Poole, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thomas, right?